Strategies for Writing Business Reports and Proposals Part 1. Audience Adaptation. As with shorter messages, take a few moments before you start writing to make sure you are ready to adapt your approach to your audience. To promote your success with reports and proposals, know your audience, be sensitive to their needs, build strong relationships with your audience, and control your style and tone. Reports and proposals that are highly technical, complex or lengthy can put heavy demands on your readers, so the audience-centered attitude is especially important with these long messages. Be sure to plan how you will adapt your style and your language to reflect the image of your organization. If you know your readers reasonably well and your report is likely to meet with their approval, you can adopt a fairly informal tone, provided that doing so is acceptable in the situation and in your company's culture. A more formal tone is usually appropriate for longer reports, especially those dealing with controversial or complex information. You will also want to use a more formal tone when your report will be sent to other parts of the organization or to outsiders, such as customers, suppliers or members of the community. Communicating with people in other cultures often calls for more formality for two reasons. First, the business environment outside the United States tends to be more formal in general. Second, the things you do to make a document informal, such as using humor and idiomatic language, tend to translate poorly, or not at all from one culture to another, so you risk offending or confusing your readers. Composing reports and proposals. As with other written business communications, reports and proposals have three main sections: an introduction, a body and a close. Introduction. An effective introduction accomplishes at least four things. 1. Puts the document in a broader context by tying it to a problem or an assignment. 2. Introduces the subject or purpose and why the subject is important. 3. Previews the main ideas and the order in which they will be covered. 4. Establishes the tone of the document and the writer's relationship with the audience. The body. The body is the middle section in the text of your report or proposal. It consists of the major divisions or chapters, with various levels of headings for long documents. These divisions present, analyze and interpret the information gathered during your investigation, and they support the recommendations or conclusions discussed in your document. The closing. The closing has three functions. 1. Emphasizes the main points of the message. 2. Summarizes the benefits to the reader, if the document suggests a change or some other course of action. 3. Brings all the action items together in one place and gives the details about who should do what, when, where and how. Drafting report content. Your credibility and future success are on the line with every business report you write. You will create more successful reports if your content has the following characteristics. Accuracy. Information presented in a report must be factual, correct and error-free. When writing reports, be sure to double-check your facts and references, in addition to checking for typos. Completeness. To help colleagues or supervisors make a decision, include all the information they will need to understand the situation, problem or proposal. Support all key assertions using illustrations, explanations, and facts. Tell your readers what they need to know, in a way that meets their needs. Balance. Present all sides of the issue fairly, and include all necessary information. Omitting relevant information or facts can make your report biased. Clarity and logic. Clear sentence structure and good transitions are essential. Identify the ideas that belong together and organize them in a way that is easy to understand. Proper documentation. When using primary and secondary sources for your report or proposal, document and give credit to your sources. Report introduction. The specific elements you should include in an introduction depend on the nature and length of the report, the circumstances in which you are writing it, and your relationship with the audience. An introduction could contain any or all of the following elements. Authorization. When, how and by whom the report was authorized, who wrote it, and when it was submitted. Problem, opportunity, purpose. The reason for the report's existence and what it is supposed to accomplish. Scope. What is and what is not going to be covered in the report. The scope indicates the report's size and complexity. It also helps with the critical job of setting the audience's expectations. Background: the conditions or factors that led up to the report. This section enables readers to understand how the problem, situation or opportunity developed and what has been done about it so far. Sources and methods: the primary and secondary sources of information used. Definitions: a list of terms that might be unfamiliar to your audience, along with brief definitions. Limitations: this section does not excuse a lack of effort or poor performance, however, it should present factors that were beyond your control. Report organization: what topics are covered and in what order, along with a rationale for using a given organizational scheme, if appropriate. The report body. The body of your report can require some tough decisions about which elements to include and how much detail to offer as supporting evidence. Some audiences and situations require detailed coverage, others can be handled with more concise treatment. Provide only enough detail in the body to support your conclusions and recommendations. Put additional detail in tables, charts and appendixes. The topics commonly covered in the body of a report include the following: 1. Explanations of the problem or opportunity that caused the report to be written. 2. Facts, statistical evidence, and trends used in the discussion. 3. Results of studies or investigations conducted during the preparation of the report. 4. Discussion and analyses of potential courses of action. 5. Advantages, disadvantages, costs and benefits of a particular course of action. 6. Procedures or steps in a process. 7. Methods and approaches used to solve problems. 8. Criteria for evaluating alternatives and options. 9. Conclusions and recommendations in direct reports. 10. Supporting reasons for conclusions or recommendations. For analytical reports using the direct approach, you can state your conclusions or recommendations in the introduction and use the body to provide your evidence and support. With the indirect approach, you can use the body to discuss your logic and reserve your conclusions or recommendations until the close. The report closing. The content and length of your report's close depend on your choice of direct or indirect order, among other variables. With a direct approach, you can end with a summary of key points listed in the order they appear in the body of the report. With an indirect approach, you can use the close to present your conclusions or recommendations, if you did not end the body with them. However, do not introduce new facts in your close. Your audience should have all the information they need by the time they reach this point. If your report is intended to prompt others to action, use the ending to spell out exactly what should happen next. If you will be taking all the actions yourself, make sure your readers understand this fact so that they will know what to expect from you. In a short report, the close may be only a paragraph or two. However, the close of a long report may have separate sections for conclusions, recommendations and actions. Using separate sections helps your reader locate this material and focus on each element. If you have multiple conclusions, recommendations or actions, you may want to number and list them. Part 2 of this video explains the process of drafting proposal content and the 6 strategies for strengthening proposal arguments. Part 3 explains the characteristics of effective writing, the technology you can use for writing reports and proposals and how to integrate visuals with text effectively to enhance communication. For further support, at Talent and Skills Hub, you can be supported by our instructors, advisors and mentors for business reports and proposals. You can book an appointment for one-to-one or group tutoring through our website, ts-hub.com.